To wrap this day up, we have arranged for a panel discussion with three people where we're going to be talking about innovation and the innovative mindset and how to create a recipe for absolutely successful innovation. It's all about creating a culture, and it's also about how to use the cutting edge technologies that we've heard about today and how to create them, of course. We're going to try to take a look into the tech crystal ball. So for this panel, I don't see we have any specific tables, but I'm going to stand here and do an introduction of the group coming up. So we have Per Falk Jensen, who's the managing director for NTT Data Denmark. Welcome to you, Per. Please come up on stage. Welcome. Give Per a big hand. Then we have Tina Dupont, product director AI and robotics from NTT Data Denmark. Also, welcome to you, Tina. And of course, last but not least, Thomas Nørmark, who we've already seen on the stage before, Global Head of AI and Robotics at NTT. Welcome, Thomas. So I think this is when we have time also where you guys can participate. So if you hear something that you have an opinion about, that you have an experience around, or just want to comment in any other way or ask a question, please do. And I think that we can do it quite casually. If you just, I'll try to keep an eye out, and you just put your hand up, and we can go in and interrupt the conversation. I think that could work today. So I've put this talk into three sessions, three themes that we're going to discuss. And the first one is what I call, what is the secret sauce to innovation? So Per Falk Jensen, as CEO, first of all, how do you feel about, like, you are here? I know that you've been working downstairs, you've been doing your team calls, and at the same time, we've had fire and smoke and crazy stuff happening on stage.
I was actually a little bit afraid that everything was going to blow up, but Thomas promised me...
Well, good thing you were in the basement then.
Exactly, but he promised me yesterday that we would not have a fire or nothing would blow up, so... But of course, I've been here also for a couple of hours, and it's amazing what this team can do, actually.
So what does it mean to an organization like yours that you do events like this?
I think this is why we are working together and working for NTT Data, to see all the, let's say, development that we are doing together with customer, with a business purpose. We are basically driving innovation, so to speak. So, yeah. We said, I think 4 or 5 years ago, we actually made a purpose saying that we wanted to be the one in the market that made digital real. And for me, being here, seeing all of these use cases for real is, just an example that something is actually working.
And with that, you're actually answering my question, which is about how do you make sure that your organization stays innovative?
Oh, but glad to. But basically, I would say, for the last 2 or 3 years, the innovation topic is as important in our management meetings as making the numbers. Because if you start, let's say, focus on the right activities, then you will actually also create the result. And what we see is basically to stay relevant for our customer, we need to be innovative. We need to find ways of combining business and technology in new ways. So basically, yeah.
Yeah. So Thomas, we've seen so many innovative cases today, and your team has been presenting very inspiring things. So what is the secret of the team? Because you must have put quite special people together here. So what are your thoughts on how to put together a team to make sure innovation happens?
Yeah, so the team is everything, right? Without the right people, you cannot do stuff like this. It's obvious. And this is why it's so important to create that team. So actually, even though I'm leading the team, they are telling me what to do, right? And that's the kind of people you want, because they burn every day. They wake up. They want to create brilliant solutions with technology.
Always hire people that are smarter than you, right?
Yep.
So the team is very important. And Tina, in this deep ocean of technology, how do you pick out the ones that are worth rooting for and investing in? Like, how do you manage to sort of scout out what's important to put investments into?
First of all, I think it's important, as Thomas says, to have a team who has the leash to go to events, for example, like this, where you see different cases and stuff demonstrated. That way you can relate to your own business, because you can choose all sorts of technologies and use all of your money, and then none of them will be adopted or deployed. So it's important to look around you to see what are your competitors doing, or different branches that are colliding together, to see, okay, this could actually be applicable, and this is sort of a technology that we can see good cases in. There you should try to dig deeper into it. You could talk to suppliers, companies like us, to say, can we meet other customers who has adopted this technology, and see what sort of benefits have they realized with this. And then you could sort of narrow it down, and then choose the technology which is also a good return on investment for your company.
So your network must be quite important also, that you creating the right network around you. How do you feel about like the companies that are close to you, sort of satellites around you?
Yeah, I definitely. So innovation is all about bringing different people together with different opinions. So I think we're quite lucky. We have for many years worked with processes and companies that are experts within processes. Then we started using analytics, working with data platforms. Now for many years, we have been in touch with the ones working with these exponential technologies and so forth. We have worked for complex organization, understanding how to implement, how to build governance around stuff. So bringing all of these things together in an ecosystem is basically what is driving our success. And I would say, I wouldn't want to be any place else than here, because I think our time is up right now. And of course, the world will change in a couple of years. New things will pop up. But having these capabilities, working closely, I would say the customer part together with our customer is so important. And I think that's a living proof, what I have seen today. I've actually also experienced new stuff today. I just think it's amazing to see also from the sustainability perspective, what can technology and what can we actually help do for society as well.
Thomas, do you feel like that's a increased trend? You're keeping your eyes out for the new stuff that's happening, but the whole sort of sustainability agenda, environment, responsibility, ethics, and all that, do you feel like that's something that's taking up a large space now, more than before?
Yeah, definitely. And it will be the number one topic for this century. We have been talking about COVID for a year and a half, but it will be gone soon, and then we will all talk about how we can solve this climate crisis. And we need technology for that. So not even can we save the planet, we can also make good business while we do it. So that's why it's very obvious for us to go into that game.
So part of the secret sauce is being good and having a good bottom line at the same time.
Do good by doing great, or
Yeah.
is it the other way around? Do great by doing good. That's the,
Right.
that's the
Okay.
saying. Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast my look out into to the room and see if there are some comments from you guys. Are you so hot that your brains are not working now? That's a little bit how it feels. Any comments on the secret sauce?
Yeah. You need a microphone, or
Is there was there someone? No. Okay, because then I'm just going to move on to the next aspect, and I can tell you that is the human aspect. So think about this, because I think you might have a question for that. So Tina, how can you make sure that the user is not forgotten when we get so fascinated by technology? I mean, when you look at this, it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do this. But sometimes we have to step back and say, hey, you don't always have to like do it just because you can, you know. Where is the end user here? It's not all about the engineer.
yeah, but that's why also we should not be afraid that robots will take our jobs, because that's exactly what humans need to ensure, to embed it in, for example, as the president said earlier, as ethical machine learning, for example, but also to be able to really design solutions for human beings. So it's also to make sure that you have core teams in your organization, where some of them are soft skill persons, which are intuitive and could feel it right away. For example, the first time I should engage with with this one here, there was some stuff that I could feel right away in my body. And you need people like that because they are going to represent the human species and all of that. You cannot just program just right away.
So talking about employees and getting the right people, we did a conference before COVID, I think, or was it in the middle when last summer? I don't remember. But anyway, we
just
could all
before.
just before we could all meet anyway. And what you'd done is that you had used AI to make sure that there was an equal amount of men and women at this tech conference, which I can tell you as someone that goes to tech conferences a lot is not something that happens by naturally. So is that something that you've also applied on yourself, trying to get like more diversity in your teams or employment? Maybe Per, you have an
Yeah, I can definitely answer that question. Yes, of course, for any management, diversity is definitely a topic as well for our company. But I would say that I think actually it is improving. I think also on stage, you can see that we actually had a lot of women on stage. So I think basically, at least it is a focus, but in our business, it is more or less solving itself because we actually get a lot of applicants from women. Now I'm a father as well. I have a daughter and a boy, and I basically understand why, because my daughter, that eventually it will actually solve itself. So the women will rule the world in the end.
But Tina, it's not only just about women, is it, diversity? It's also about different people generally.
Yeah, I think it is because then we have different sort of views, and it's really important when we work with the AI to make sure that we're not biased. So so that's very good actually. Yeah.
So Thomas, we have powers here, and with great power comes great responsibility. As was it Winston Churchill or was it Spider-Man? Nobody really knows. You can Google it. I did. Nobody knows.
Same.
But the point is very precise. How do we make sure we use these superpowers for good for the human race?
Yeah, I get that question a lot, and I'm just thinking about how it happens that Prayson is standing here and talking about ethical machine learning being the priority number one, and then we can create a good solution afterwards. And I think it's really because we are not bad people in our team, and we don't want to do bad with technology. It's a basic principle that just grows into the culture of our company. And if you have that basic principle and culture, then you don't need to do anything else. Because then you know that your developers, your data scientists, they will make sure that they do good with technology. And then, of course, we need to have governance and guidelines so we will not get tricked by the technology. Because sometimes we can, as human beings, think that we know, but technology knows better. And that
is that something that's a big part of your culture in the company? Is that something that you've been very conscious about, or have you just been lucky with good people, or is that something that's
No. Of course, as a global company, we have a lot of governance from a whistleblower program to actually offering also for customer services where we make sure that we are in control of what kind of AI is put into which processes, what does the data set look like, making sure it's not getting biased and so forth. So in our own data centers, also as managed service for customers and as on a project basis as well, we now actually see that this is probably going to be the number one topic for the CFO, I would say in 2021, trustworthy AI. So a lot of legalization has come up, a lot of usage of AI has come up now, and we need to take that serious also as a manager, of course.
Do you, as a CEO, have you started thinking about measuring growth not just as a financial parameter, but also growth as something more qualitatively that could be, the environment that the people are working in, the doing stuff for good projects that you're picking out, or is the whole thing about we've had so much focus on growth and efficiency, but it seems like we're also moving towards a different type of growth.
Yeah, exactly. And now you saw Christopher on the stage 10 minutes ago, and he's really troublesome. I can promise you that in the business, because he's now coming up with a lot of programs that he wants us to sign off for, because basically we want to be one of the best, let's say, in the business from a sustainability perspective. So yes, we are doing a lot on a global scale. We are doing a lot via our customers, because our learnings is that our impact being a consultancy company is low in tier one, so to speak. What we can do, we do, of course, but what we can actually do for the environment or sustainability purposes is more offering the technology and doing projects together with our customers. Yes.
So I'm going to turn my attention to you guys again. Is this an area that you have thought about? Is this something that's in your company? How is the focus on the human aspect? Been provoked by anything we've been saying on stage today? You just don't want to talk. That's okay. I really, really don't blame you. But I think, I mean, this is a topic that we can discuss many places. I know that you have a LinkedIn page. Thomas, what's it called, the LinkedIn page? Do you remember the name of your LinkedIn page?
Yeah, Thomas.
Not yours.
No.
But the entities.
Yeah,
I just forgot. Well, I'll make sure I get it. But these are some of the places where we can go and discuss these things. That's what I mean. That even if we might not find the words right now, this is an ongoing conversation discussing like the role between humanity and technology, and the sort of the final theme that I've picked out is what I call the learning curve. Tina, how can we help organizations embrace and sort of integrate these technologies in a way where it feels safe for them and where it's, it's not like too tough a situation to be in with the company culture and everything? How do we make people integrate things like what we're seeing today?
I think it's really important, again, to take it from the bottom up. So you have to really involve the end users, so they won't, say, oh, robots are taking my job, and if we're going to automate everything, what am I going to do, and stuff like that, because many of the stuff is boring tasks or repetitive tasks. So it is really up to the CEOs and the managers to make sure that we have a good storyline and involve the, you could say, users or the front line to say, okay, we're going to reinvest our time in value work. It could be, for example, for the law enforcement, the police department in Denmark. For example, it was a police officer who should take if your bike gets stolen, it's a physical person who had to write it down, but it's also a physical person if you get beat or raped or something like that. But you only have so many police persons, so it's a good idea to actually get the employees to understand that if we can automate all of these boring assignments that are non-value, then we can actually be where it's important for us to be. And this was very in the high end, but it could also be in the customer service department where people only have 2 minutes for each customer, something like that. Then you could automate all of the non-value stuff, and then you could use more time on the value time, so to speak. And if you could get the employees on board, suggesting which processes to automate, and also to get them to adopt the solution themselves, then it's a good solution. So if they understand, why are we doing this? Why is it good for me as an employee, for our customers, and for the company? Then they are actually on board. But it takes quite some communication. So there are change management. So technology is about people. We should always remember that.
So Thomas, even though that you have a global role representing about 30 countries, we can see that Denmark has actually been quite good at the learning curve. It seems like a lot of projects are coming out of Denmark. What is it that we are learning in Denmark? Why are the cases from here? Have we had a better learning curve?
I have tried to figure that out for quite a number of time, because I've been traveling the world for years, working with teams, doing innovations. And one of the conclusions that I've reached is, of course, the very low power distance that we have in Denmark, meaning that, as I told you, so my team members tell me what to do and when to shut up because they don't want to do something that they think is brilliant. So it's something about having the guts and dare jump in the boat like we did as Vikings, right? We jumped in the boat, we sailed, we didn't know what would happen, right? But at some point we knew we would reach land, England, Iceland, whatever we would go, and then we will make it from there.
See what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we
that's
are
a
not
little
afraid.
bit different than the story that we often hear about Jantelov, that, don't think that you're better than anyone else. Is that changing in the Danish culture with innovation?
Yeah, I guess as long as you don't sort of like put yourself in the center of everything, but you do it as a team, then the Jantelov will disintegrate, and you will actually be able to do stuff without going into 2-year programs where management have to approve and whatever. If we decide to do something, we do it on Monday.
Yeah, do you want to have more programs where
Yeah.
management
Maybe
approve?
I could.
And I tell Pierre what to do as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's actually the truth.
And I tell
so,
Thomas what to do.
That's actually the truth. But I think one of the explanation is basically if you look, let's say from a Danish perspective, we don't. Yeah, knowledge is our raw material. So all the, let's say, the businesses in Denmark depends highly on automation and actually R&D and innovation. And I think basically that's also driving our success, meaning that we don't do innovation just for the part of technology's sake. We do co-innovation together with our customers. And we basically want to make our customers' business run better. And they are quite eager to do that jointly together with us. So I think us being a part of a global organization, actually Japanese owned, who is very interested into R&D, also, let's say, giving us some opportunities for do R&D projects, and the combination of customers who need to be, let's say, top-notched in automation topics and so forth, is also driving us move ahead. And then I support Thomas that at least in our organization, we have a very flat organization. So the basic responsibility lies with the persons who can actually do the work. And I think that's typically Danish, of course. At least I feel we have some management. Maybe we don't, I don't know. But every time I drive to work, I still feel I do a little bit of management work. But it is true that actually we have a very flat organization.
So what have you learned the past few years about being profitable while innovating?
So for me, it's all about being driven by the market, by demands. I think actually you can see a lot of the innovation topics up here serves a purpose. So it's not just for the sake of let's say technology. It's for upselling, cross-selling, serving people better, doing something for the environment and so forth. So basically all we do serve a purpose, and hopefully somebody is willing to pay a premium price for that topic, or getting savings or whatever in their business.
As closing off, I think we should look into the crystal ball, Thomas. The future. Now we've just had a trend service, and what types of food are in the future. It could be what types of fashion. What types of technologies are we going to be seeing in the future?
Yeah, so I've always said that if we could make artificial intelligence, then that would be sort of the end game in tech community and in the history of tech, right? And I think that we will see AI evolve over the years, so it will be more autonomous, it will be more self-learning, it will be sort of like reacting to the data signals that comes from the world. And then we have people, we will have to tame it and manage it. That will be our role. And of course, I cannot predict if it's in 6 months, or I need Sanosa and Prayson for that. But that's the trend I see, and very much connected to the sustainability agenda.
So a very big role for humans, it seems.
Definitely. So just like with the climate, there is only us, right? We are responsible for this planet.
Tina, the future of technology and the future of your work?
Yeah, I definitely think that we're going to be wiser. Back in the 80s, we smoked in our cars and we did lots of stupid stuff. And I definitely think that we're going to use technology to make a better world. And we will see that we start to apply all of our data, both as a private person, but also as companies, to make sure that we develop sustainable ways of living, sustainable ways of educating, being old, going to school, all sorts of stuff like that. And if, at least for us in our work, we are also looking into the crystal ball all the time, just as we told you to do. We look at what are other businesses doing, what are the trend lines. So, for example, we are with this one already looking into holograms and deepfake technology, because there's a huge market for example, that. And it's totally crazy when I see these videos. I'm like, it's what do you, it's a model avatar who looks like a real person who earns millions of dollars, and it's an avatar.
And it does raise a lot of ethical questions.
Yeah, it does. So we have to look into that as well. So
Pierre, where's your company moving from here?
So yeah, I definitely support the statement by Thomas that technology will take us from scarcity to abundance somehow.
Yeah.
Technology is definitely the question or the answer to a lot of these scarcity topics that we also addressed today. One of the things that I'm quite into is actually genomic technology, because this is something that will radically change our world. And as humans, I think it's quite interesting that now we can basically, let's say, develop or rebuild any body part, except maybe from the brain. To my understanding, we still need to map that DNA. But I think
just download it and put it on.
Yeah,
hard disk.
exactly. But I'm quite into this, as you also mentioned, technology for the goods. I really think that that will solve many problems. Also, that we are not aware of in Denmark, where we maybe don't see that many problems compared to other places in the world. So, yeah.
Thank you. And I think that closes our little panel discussion. So please give the panel, three guys, a big hand. And I think, Tina, we can thank you, because I think the two gentlemen will be staying on stage.
Yeah.
And
You can stay as well.
oh, it's okay.
Nice to have you here.
You can.
It's good to have company.
because we're thank you very much. We're reaching the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe you both want to say a few words. Pierre, do you want to?
Yeah, maybe I
closing
could start
remarks?
up. Basically, I just want to say thank you for the team. I think it's quite a pleasure being here as a CEO for a company who can actually present that many real-time cases, where I think we use technology in new, exciting ways, and hopefully are improving businesses for a lot of you. And if you want to see more, we are having a very special event. I think you mentioned that also in the beginning, Christiane, that the purpose for us being in our business in the Nordics is that we want to make digital real. And I think the conference we will have later this year, this was just a taste of what we can actually do. The team have promised me that for that event, they will really pick up and show some really amazing stuff. So if any of you would like to attend this event just after summer, I think it's in September.
The 30th. Yeah.
Yeah. I would welcome all of you to attend that as well. And I promise you that the team will definitely pick up and make it even more exciting to be there.
Excellent.
So thank you to all of you. I think you've done a tremendous job, both here and also in the virtual world. I know that we are several thousand of viewers in the virtual world as well. A lot of backstage people as well. Excellent. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. And Thomas, yeah. And Thomas, for the final remarks, because this is a brainchild of yours.
Yeah, of all of us. But of course, we needed to get out and show all the amazing stuff that we have created over the past year when we have been locked down. And I'm just so glad that we are finally able to be together again. And also that we have now learned that we can actually invite thousands of people from all over the world. And I can see that so many have joined during today. So thank you very much to the online attendees from 100+ countries. It's really, really amazing. I hope in my introduction that you got an understanding that we are now in a live lab situation. So we want to be honest, right? In a lab, it doesn't always work. And if it did, why bother? Then we would not be here. So the chair is also technology. We don't think about it, right? Because it's just a chair. And this is really what it's all about. When we fail, we clap. Because then we know that our competitors will have a hard time doing the same as we are doing, right? So it has to be hard. And we have to try again and again and again. And I hope that you've had that feeling with us inviting you into our everyday lab today. So with this, I want to say thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the next Tech Overdrive next year, even wilder and more crazy, and we will definitely blow stuff up at that point. And then I will just invite the team on stage and let the lab explode. Thank you
Very much. Remember, there are snacks, there are drinks, there's networking now. Please join us and have a wonderful the rest of the day. Thank you very much from the stage.
Thank you.
See you outside.
Tak for at I kom.